Black Waitress took a bullet meant for the Korean Mafia boss. 24 hours later, he was on one knee with a ring. The bullet entered Martha's shoulder before she even registered the sound of the gunshot. One moment she was refilling coffee at table 7, the next she was on the ground, ceramic shards and dark liquid spreading across the diner's checkered floor. Pain exploded through her body, white hot and consuming, but through the haze she saw him, the Korean man in the expensive suit who'd been sitting alone by the window, diving toward her, eyes wide with shock and something else, something that looked like recognition. "Stay down!" His accent was slight but noticeable, voice commanding despite the chaos erupting around them. More gunshots shattered the front windows of Lucille's diner, sending the lunch crowd into screaming panic. Martha tried to move, tried to understand what was happening, but her body wouldn't cooperate. Blood was everywhere. Her blood. The man, she'd served him black coffee and apple pie just 10 minutes ago, remembered thinking he was too beautiful for this neighborhood, covered her body with his own as bullets continued to tear through the space. She felt his heart hammering against her back, felt the tension in his muscles, smelled his cologne mixed with her own blood and fear. "I've got you," he said into her ear, voice steady despite the violence. "Just hold on. Please hold on." Martha's vision started tunneling, darkness creeping in from the edges. She heard sirens in the distance. More shouting, the distinctive sound of someone screaming her name. Probably Lou, her manager, who'd hired her 3 years ago when no one else would. And then everything went black. She woke up in the ambulance, the man still beside her, his hand gripping hers with desperate strength. His suit was ruined, covered in her blood, but his dark eyes were focused entirely on her face. "Stay with me," he commanded. "Don't you dare close your eyes again." "Who?" Martha's voice was barely a whisper. "Who are you?" "Kim Tae-jin, and you just saved my life." He looked shattered, almost angry. "That bullet was meant for me. You stepped in front of it." Didn't mean to." Her words slurred. "Just walking. I know, and I'm so fucking sorry." His thumb stroked across her knuckles, the gesture surprisingly gentle. "But I promise you, I swear on everything I have, you will survive this. And when you do, I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this right." Martha wanted to ask what he meant, wanted to understand why someone was shooting at a customer in her diner, why this stranger looked at her like she was precious. But the darkness pulled her under again, and this time she didn't fight it. When Martha next opened her eyes, harsh fluorescent lights made her wince. Hospital. The smell of antiseptic and the steady beep of monitors confirmed it. Her shoulder was on fire, every breath sending pain radiating through her chest. She tried to move and immediately regretted it. "Don't!" The voice came from beside her bed. Tae-jin was there, still in his blood-stained clothes, looking like he hadn't moved in hours. Dark circles shadowed his eyes and stubble covered his usually clean-shaven jaw. "You've been in surgery for 6 hours. The bullet nicked your subclavian artery. You almost died." Martha's mouth was dry, tongue feeling too thick. "Water." He was on his feet immediately, helping her sip from a straw with surprising tenderness. When she'd had enough, he set the cup aside and just looked at her, something complicated and intense in his expression. My family," Martha managed. "Your mother and sister are in the cafeteria. I insisted they eat something. They've been here the whole time." He hesitated. "I haven't left either." "Why?" The question came out sharper than intended. "You don't know me. I'm nobody. You took a bullet meant for me. That makes you somebody very important." Tae-jin pulled his chair closer, elbows on his knees, hands clasped. "Martha Hayes, 26 years old. You've worked at Lucille's diner for 3 years. You send most of your money home to help your mother with medical bills. She has diabetes. Your younger sister Jasmine is in her 2nd year at community college, studying nursing. You live alone in a studio apartment in Inglewood. You want to be a teacher someday but can't afford to go back to school." Fear spiked through Martha's chest. How do you know all that? Because the moment they wheeled you into surgery, I had my people find out everything about you. I needed to know who you were, who I'd put in danger. His jaw tightened. Martha, those men weren't random shooters. They were sent to kill me. And you got in the way. Who are you? Martha tried to sit up, gasped at the pain, and Taejin immediately moved to help adjust her pillows. Really? Who are you that people are trying to kill you in a diner at lunchtime? He met her eyes and she saw him make a decision. I'm the head of the Kim family, what Americans call the Korean Mafia. I control most of the organized crime operations in Koreatown and surrounding areas. And those men work for a rival organization that wants me dead. The words should have terrified her. Martha should have screamed for security, demanded he leave. Instead, she found herself asking, why were you at Lucille's? That's nowhere near Koreatown. I was meeting someone, a potential ally. His expression darkened. It was supposed to be neutral territory. I thought I'd be safe in a neighborhood diner at noon. I was wrong, and you paid the price for my mistake. So those men, they'll come back? Try again? No. Something cold and final entered Taejin's voice. They won't. I made sure of it last night. Their organization has been dismantled. The people who gave the order are dead. No one will threaten you again. Martha absorbed that. This beautiful man in the expensive suit had killed people. Multiple people, probably. Because they'd shot her. Because she'd accidentally taken a bullet meant for him. I should be scared of you, she said slowly. You should be. But I'm not. I'm just confused and in pain and wondering what happens now. Now, Taejin leaned forward, now I make sure you have the best care possible, the best doctors, the best rehabilitation, everything you need to fully recover. All your medical bills are covered. Your mother's bills are covered. Your rent is covered. And when you're healed, stop. Martha's good hand came up. I can't accept charity. I don't need a criminal's guilt money. His eyes flashed. It's not charity. It's responsibility. You were hurt because of me. That makes your recovery my obligation. I don't want to be anyone's obligation. Too bad. You already are. He stood pacing to the window. Martha, do you understand what you did? That bullet would have killed me. Hit me in the chest, probably straight through my heart. You stepped in front of it. You, a complete stranger, put yourself between me and death without even thinking. I told you, I was just walking. I didn't. You did. He turned back to her, eyes blazing. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was fate. But the result is the same. You saved my life, and I will not let you suffer for it. Before Martha could respond, the door burst open and her mother rushed in, followed by Jasmine. Baby! Oh, thank God, you're awake! Her mother's hands were all over her face, checking her temperature, smoothing her hair, tears streaming down her brown cheeks. I'm okay, Mama. I'm okay. Martha caught her mother's hands, squeezing gently. Over her mother's shoulder, she saw Jasmine staring at Taejin with wide, suspicious eyes. Who's that? Jasmine asked bluntly. And why does he look like he's been here all night? Taejin bowed slightly, a formal gesture that seemed natural to him. Kim Taejin. I was at the diner when Martha was shot. I wanted to make sure she recovered. That's real nice of you, Martha's mother said, sizing him up with the sharp eyes of someone who'd raised 2 daughters alone in a tough neighborhood. But you look like you need to go home and sleep, honey. We'll take care of our girl now. Of course. Taejin moved toward the door, but paused, looking back at Martha. I'll be back tomorrow. We have more to discuss. After he left, Jasmine immediately turned to Martha. Okay, who the hell was that? And don't say just some customer, because that man looks at you like you're the last woman on earth. It's complicated, Martha said weakly. Girl, it better be, because that was a whole Korean god covered in your blood, looking like he was ready to burn the world down if you didn't wake up. Martha wanted to explain, but exhaustion pulled at her. The pain medication was kicking in, making everything fuzzy at the edges. Later, I promise. Just stay. We're not going anywhere, her mother assured her, settling into the chair Tae-jin had occupied for hours. You rest, baby. We'll be right here. As Martha drifted off, she thought about dark eyes and blood-stained suits, and the way a stranger had looked at her like she was worth protecting, like she mattered. It was probably the drugs making her feel warm inside. Probably. Martha woke sometime in the night to find the hospital room dark except for the dim glow of monitors. Her mother was asleep in the chair, mouth slightly open, snoring softly. Jasmine was curled up on the small couch under the window, and standing in the shadows near the door, barely visible, was a figure. Who's there? Martha's voice came out raspy, scared. The figure stepped into the light, and Martha's heart rate settled. Not Tae-jin, but a woman, Korean, mid-30s, dressed all in black, with sharp eyes that assessed Martha clinically. My name is Choi Yoon-hee. I work for Kim Tae-jin. Her English was nearly perfect, accent barely noticeable. I'm here to ensure your safety. At 3 in the morning? At all times, you're under 24-hour protection until the situation is fully resolved. Yoon-hee moved closer, footsteps silent. There are 2 more of my people outside your door. Another team watching your mother's house. 2 watching your sister's dorm. You and everyone you care about are safe. Martha didn't know whether to be grateful or disturbed. Is that really necessary? He said the threat was eliminated. The immediate threat, yes. But in our world, eliminating one enemy often creates others. Those who worked for the dead men may seek revenge. Those who see you as Kim Tae-jin's weakness may try to exploit it. Yoon-hee's expression softened slightly. He won't risk you. Any of you. I'm not his anything. I'm just a waitress who was in the wrong place. You're the woman who saved his life. In his world, that creates a debt that can never be fully repaid. But more than that, Yoon-hee paused, seeming to choose her words carefully. I've worked for Kim Tae-jin for 8 years. I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you. Like you're something precious he's terrified of breaking. Heat flooded Martha's cheeks. That's ridiculous. He doesn't know me. Perhaps, but he wants to. Yoon-hee moved back toward the shadows. Sleep, Martha Hayes. You're safe. I promise you that. The woman disappeared into the darkness, and Martha was left staring at the ceiling, trying to process everything. A mafia boss, protection details, a debt that couldn't be repaid. And underneath it all, a flutter in her chest when she thought about how Tae-jin had held her hand in the ambulance, the desperation in his voice when he told her to hold on. You're in trouble, girl, she whispered to herself. Deep, deep trouble. Tae-jin returned the next morning looking considerably better. Clean suit, freshly shaved, but those dark circles still shadowed his eyes. He carried an enormous bouquet of sunflowers and roses, along with several bags that smelled incredible. I brought breakfast, he announced, setting everything on the rolling table. I didn't know what you liked, so I got options. Congee, pancakes, fresh fruit, bagels. Coffee from that place everyone seems to love. That's enough food for 10 people, Martha interrupted, but she was smiling despite herself. Her mother and Jasmine had left an hour ago to shower and change, promising to return by lunch. You didn't have to do all this. I wanted to. He began unpacking containers with careful precision. You're stuck eating hospital food otherwise, and that's a crime against humanity. Pretty sure you commit actual crimes. His hands stilled, and he looked up at her. Yes, I do. Does that bother you? Martha considered the question seriously. It should. Everything about this situation should bother me. But honestly, I'm more bothered by the fact that I got shot and I'll probably lose my job and I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent and… She stopped, surprised by the sudden tears burning her eyes. Sorry, the pain medication makes me emotional. You won't lose your job. I bought the diner. Martha's jaw dropped. You what? I bought Lucille's diner. As of 7 this morning. Lou is staying on as manager. All employees keep their positions, but the property is now mine. which means your job is secure whenever you're ready to return. Tae-jin said this like it was perfectly normal. Also, your rent is covered for the next year, and your mother's medical bills have been paid in full. You can't just, you can't do that. Martha tried to sit up, winced, and Tae-jin was immediately there, helping her adjust. His hands were gentle but firm, and Martha was acutely aware of how close he was, the way his cologne smelled like cedar and something exotic. I can, and I did. Martha, you took a bullet for me, a bullet that would have killed me. There is no amount of money, no gesture large enough to repay that debt. So you're what, trying to buy me? Make me dependent on you? Pain flashed across his face. No, God, no. I'm trying to give you options. Freedom. You said you wanted to be a teacher someday, but couldn't afford school. Now you can afford it. You send most of your paycheck home to help your family. Now you don't have to. I'm not trying to own you, Martha. I'm trying to give you the life you deserve. And what do you get out of this? He was quiet for a long moment, studying her with those intense dark eyes. Peace of mind, knowing that you're okay, that your sacrifice didn't ruin your life. He pulled the chair close to her bed, sitting down heavily. And maybe the chance to know you. Really know you. Because in the ambulance, when you were bleeding out in my arms, I made a promise to myself. If you survived, I would make sure you never regretted saving me. I don't regret it, Martha said softly. I mean, getting shot sucks. Really sucks. But I do it again. Why? She shrugged with her good shoulder. Because that's what you do. You see someone in danger, you help, even if they're strangers, even if it costs you something. My grandma raised me to believe that we're all connected, all responsible for each other. That turning away from someone's pain makes you less human. Tae-jin looked at her like she'd said something profound. Your grandmother sounds like she was a wise woman. She was. She died when I was 18, but I still hear her voice sometimes, telling me to stand up straight, work hard, be kind, even when the world isn't kind back. Martha smiled at the memory. She'd probably have words about me getting mixed up with a criminal, though. She'd be right to. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Martha, I need you to understand something. My world is dangerous, violent. I've done things I'm not proud of. Hurt people, killed people. I'm not a good man by most standards, but I protect what's mine. And whether you accept it or not, you're under my protection now. I'm not yours. Not yet. The words were quiet but loaded with meaning. But I'd like you to be. Someday, if you'll let me. Martha's heart hammered in her chest. Your proposal